quietly designing my first brand and product, but I want to sell some items to gain some experience with selling and learn how to work the seller account. If I source products from AliExpress, do I send those products to an Amazon warehouse or to my own address and ship from home?
Ah, this is a great question. And so I'm going to go into, because today I was going to talk about I don't know, like I've done a video on this before on my YouTube, kind of how I first started when I was doing private label, like the trick that I used to source on AliExpress. And that's kind of what I was going to cover today and go a little bit more in depth in that, because I know that it's a cool trick. And I think like a lot of people starting out can get a lot of value from it, because it's similar to what Amy was talking about with the RAOA stuff. It's like, minimal risk, but you can kind of get your head in the game on how this stuff all works. So let me go into my training for the day, since this question directly relates to it. So when I first started out, it was a side business. It was something that we started because my wife didn't want to do her day job anymore when our first son was born. So she didn't want to work anymore. So I started dabbling in the Amazon world as kind of like something to replace her income. So at first, it seemed super overwhelming and things like that. And this was back in 2013, where there was, not training like there is now, where you can find almost how to do anything. So it was kind of like on my own. But what the technique that I kind of come up with early on, which seemed to work really well, granted 2013 was, it was kind of a gold mine. It was like you could almost throw anything up and have success. But, this technique still works really well today. So what we used to do is we'd go on AliExpress and we'd source products. And what we do first is, we'd of course go the normal route. A lot of people use like Jungle Scout and things like that to get product ideas. I hate those. I call them my verification tools. But what I like to do is like tell everybody, like, go with something you're passionate about, because it's going to show through on your products, like what you produce. If you're like super into cats, then you come out with cat products. Or if you're super into baseball, like maybe baseball related products, or cars, like, auto parts. Like, in other words, like try to tie your sourcing ideas to things you're passionate about, because that number one, you're going to have knowledge. So if your customers come to you, you're going to look like an expert because you already have a lot of knowledge in that subject or in that niche. So that's something really awesome to think about. So what we used to do is we'd go, we'd kind of be like, oh, this is super interesting to me. And then I'd go and I look at the market and things like that. Nowadays, the way you want to do it is find a product that you're interested in, and then you really want to do your homework. And a lot of people miss this step. They, they'll go to like the bestseller lists on Amazon or something like that, and they'll find products there, and then they'll just go buy them. And they do like no more research. At a minimum, once you get your product ideas, that's when you start breaking out Jungle Scout, things like that. But you also want to spread like something that people never think about, which is something that you can do is people think about Google Trends, but they don't think about like a simple search on like Twitter. So like, Are people talking about this product? If they're not, if you're trying to source like, keychains or something, like, are people talking about it, or is there any demand for it? So that's something you definitely want to do your research. And there's like I said, you can do like another great place to find product ideas and also to sell on, if you've never sold on, is Wish, wish.com. There's a lot of opportunity as a merchant there, but also for product ideas because it's social based. So wish.com is a great one to go look at. AliExpress itself is a great one to look for trending products. And then there's also some tools out there. I wish I could remember the one I used to use. I'll have to try to dig it up and see if I can post it for you guys. I want to say it was like Sourcezilla or something like that, but it was cool because it would go out and scrape like Shopify stores, like these weird like Japanese online stores and like all this stuff, and find like these trending products, which was really cool. Like Groupon, like it had all these different stores that it would tie into. So that's how you can, kind of get some of your product ideas and kind of verify that there's some demand for that. The next thing you want to do, of course, is go to, like, once you get your idea on AliExpress, the next thing you want to do before you order is go over to Alibaba or 1688.com, which is the Chinese version, and look to see what the wholesale price is, because you're going to pay less than what you're paying on AliExpress, but you want to know that number because you want to know what you're going to be able to sell on Amazon before you even source it. That's another thing a lot of people don't think about. Amy, it looks like you wanted to jump in with something.
Well, no, that's a really great tip because, just understanding what that price is because lately since the drop shipping boom, AliExpress has become really and using Oberlo plugins on Shopify has
Right.
become really popular, right?
Yep. Yep.
So what the vendors on AliExpress have caught on and they've raised their prices. And remember, in an Asian market, it's always negotiable,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So don't be afraid to reach out and go, hey, I want to buy 30 of these from you. And, so check 1688 for that wholesale price. Great tip, Andy. I believe the resource, I have a video in my group, Dropshipping 101, where I walk you through you can search on Google, you can put in Shopify plus cats, Shopify plus baseball in the Google search, and it'll bring up all of the Shopify sites. And then you
Right.
can look in those stores and see what they're selling and see what's trending. And I bet a lot of that probably, because they're focused on that drop ship model, a lot of that might not be on Amazon. So you find your trend that you're really interested in. If you just want to buy a few and test it out, you should check out those Shopify sites. And I believe the site that it is, I think it's Ecom Hunt, where they scrape everything and they show you like the latest products. But I'll look it up too. I have a version of it in my Dropship 101
Yeah.